As of February 16, 2025, the U.S. national debt has soared past $36.2 trillion, a staggering number, one that continues to rise with no end in sight. But what does this really mean? How did we get here? And what happens if we don't change course? The U.S. national debt comes in two main parts. Debt held by the public. This is money borrowed through Treasury securities and held by individuals, corporations, the Federal Reserve, and even foreign governments. Intragovernmental debt. This is money the government owes itself, like funds borrowed from Social Security to finance other expenses. Government spending, tax policies, and economic crises have all played a role in pushing our national debt higher. The COVID-19 pandemic, in particular, triggered massive federal spending to keep the economy afloat. In 2025, the U.S. government is projected to pay $952 billion in interest alone, just to service the debt. That's nearly $1 trillion gone, without reducing a single penny of the debt itself. Interest payments are now one of the largest expenditures in the federal budget. If debt levels continue to rise, the U.S. could face a future where interest payments outpace even critical spending like Social Security and education. How much debt is too much? Economists debate this, but history suggests trouble starts when debt exceeds 90% of GDP. Today, the U.S. sits at over 120%, and projections show it could climb even higher. According to the Penn-Wharton budget model, if the U.S. continues on this path, financial markets could stop sustaining our deficits in 20 years or less. If we wait too long, no amount of tax increases or spending cuts will be enough to avoid a crisis. If the debt crisis spirals out of control, the consequences could be severe. Higher interest rates that make it more expensive to buy homes, start businesses, or borrow money. Reduced economic growth as debt crowds out private investment. Government instability as leaders are forced into extreme austerity measures. We've seen what happens when nations ignore their debt. The U.S. is not immune. The good news? There are solutions, but they require action soon. Spending reform, reducing unnecessary government expenditures. Tax policy adjustments, finding a balance between revenue and incentives for growth. Economic expansion, boosting GDP through innovation, trade, and investment. Debt prioritization, making responsible choices to stabilize borrowing. This isn't just a Washington problem. It affects all of us, our future, our children's future, and the nation's place in the global economy. The U.S. has 20 years to get this right. Will we make the hard choices, or will we wait until it's too late?